My name is Lankawa. Today I'm going to demonstrate my final year project. As mentioned in the presentation, my project is to combine the content-based filtering and the item-based collaborative filtering as a hybrid approach to compensate for their drawbacks to each other, so that the over-specialization problem and the restart problem can be eased. Considering the lack of user implicit feedback in the traditional recommender systems, sentiment analysis for user reviews on products will be considered as one of the factors. Um, for demo procedure, I will first introduce all API in the system, and then we will look at the source code to explore my implementation for different tasks, including data preprocessing, data visualization, model training, and the detailed implementation of my proposed recommendation algorithm. So let's get started. Before using the API, we need to start the server first. Um, you can type Python .py, and the server will be started. It will generate a URL, and you can click on this URL. And here is a list of API endpoints you can use to explore my system. You can find them from my GitHub repo file, and I have uploaded the link to the source code part in the FIP management system. And since there are too many combinations for the user ID and product ID, I will use these two as an example for the demonstration. So if you would like to get a list of user, um, you can just call this URL. If you would like to limit the number of record and specifying the starting point of the record, you will just go to the specifying the offset and limit, just like this. If you don't specify, the default will be returning 100 record. If you specify, it will start by 5 and the total number of record will be 5, also 5. Here is an example, and then um, before using the recommendation function, you need to log in as a user first, because the login function is not the core of my final year project, and so I will implement this login function as easy as possible. And here is an example. Just calling this URL, and you can specify the user ID to log into the system, and it will be stored in the session. Um, so and then uh, after you log into the system, a list of products will be returned, and you may explore which product you would like to try. You can also use the offset and limit to um, limit the record. And then to get the product detail, you may just call this URL. So this is the detail of this product. And then to get a review of a product, you can just call this URL with the certain offset and limit. And here is the record. And to get the user detail, you can just call this URL. And to get the review of the user, you can call this URL. And then after you finding deciding the user encoder, and you can explore the our recommendation function, and you can try the content-based filtering, content-based collaborative filtering, and propose the recommendation algorithm. And here is the number of top n record it will return. You can define by this n variable. Um, Here is an example. Here is my proposed algorithm, and it is specifying and equals to 5, only 5 record will be returned. And here is the content filter, and here is the identity collaborative filter. And you can just compare the results and see whether there is a difference. And here is all the API in my system. I also teach you how to use this API. Here is the prerequisites. You need to log in as a user first, and if you would like to try a different user, you will call the log URL and call the login URL and use different user ID to log in as another user. And then, yes, then you can select one of the product to try different combination. And here is also the installation guide to install my project. Here is the library I built for building my project in Python. And then we look at the source code of my project. Here is the API, and here is the coding structure. Just follow the MVC design pattern. Model view controller is the repository that to just use to connect to the database. And here is the controller that is in defining the URL that you can use. And here is the list of server that is the function of my project. And then here the data is just the database of my system, and and this um and here you can see that the full file, and here the external file is just the file that I downloaded from the Amazon website, and then I have pre-processing some data and then turn it to the raw data, and then here the data transformation script that is part of the step of the processing, and I turned the external to raw to selected, and then I select some of the category, um, and then I try to combine all the category into one. As you can see in final folder, and here is the free script for data transformation. And then since my uh, my task includes the sentiment analyze, and the data has no any labeling, so I need to label the model by using uh, the rating. And the rules is if the rating is more than uh, 2, that is free profile, we will define it as positive, and otherwise we define it as negative. And here is the data visualization script to visualize my data, and my final data, and my procedure data. The procedure data is the cleaned data, just like the cleaned sentiment test, and also the order description. And this tool script is responsible for um, data pre-processing for the final data. And then here is a list model that I trained for this project. Here is the sentiment analyze model. Um, that is the source code, and here is the actual model. And as you can see, in the sentiment analyze, here is the final part that we will use after selecting the best model. And here is some baseline model, hyperparameter model, or the model, just for comparison purpose. And this is the item-based collaborative model used here and then as example in this project. And here it is founded filtering and the IP similarity matrix. And you can you can explore how I write this algorithm in this script and how I train this model in this script. And then here is a Jupyter notebook to visualize the result of my different recommendation algorithm. And here is some result, and here is my core function, and as you can see here, and I have also explained that in my presentation. And here is the results. We can try different user ID and for the ID here, or by calling the API. Here is the content filtering result. As you see, the order name is similar because they are based on the content of the product. And here is the item collaborative filtering, which should be similar to my recommended proposed recommendation algorithm. And the difference is that the order is some of the product, the order is different because the rankings, the ranking score is considered, and the ranking score is calculated by the sentiment and the prediction value. Yes, just like I have, just like I have mentioned it in my presentation, and this is um, that is the end of my demonstration. Thank you.